First at 6, record COVID numbers. The Omicron variant surges across Mississippi with cases hitting a new record high. But will that affect the first day of the spring semester?
Plus, business gets underway at the state capitol today. We'll break down the biggest issues they face ahead of the 2022 session.
And you're probably waking up to frost this morning. It's going to take an extra minute or two to scrape that off. I'm timing out a warming trend coming up.
Welcome to 12 News. I'm Jade Alexa.
And I'm Chloe Ortega. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, January 4th. Thanks for joining us. You're going to need the ice scraper this morning. I had some ice in my windshield and I tried taking that off. Jade, you did the easy route and you just sat in your car and waited for it to defrost.
I did, but it made me run a little late today, I must say, because I had to sit there for about 10 minutes just to let the car heat up and melt the ice away. So, yeah.
Some time for yourself, too, maybe drink coffee while you're
I
waiting.
was just sitting there drinking coffee, but I was like, hurry up, hurry up. I gotta go.
Yeah, the frost out there is certainly going to delay some people for the morning routine. Either have to scrape it off or just sit there, let it defrost. 28 in Brandon, 27 from Clinton to Jackson, up towards the Madison area this morning. All of us at or below 30 degrees, so very chilly start out there. Natchez Fade at 28 degrees, Vicksburg 27, Monticello and Macomb at 29 degrees and 25. Our cold spot now, that's up in Yazoo County. So very chilly air this morning. We're not really getting above freezing until 9 a.m. or so, but we do have sun today. That'll help us warm a little bit, along with a light south wind, pushing our temperatures into the 50s for this afternoon. So a little bit more mild, if you will, compared to yesterday. Not quite as cold tonight either. I'm looking at a general warming trend and also some rain in your 8-day forecast coming up in about 15 minutes. First, checking on traffic here in the metro. Everything is moving smoothly. I do want to alert you if you're heading on I-20 westbound from Vicksburg out to Tallulah. I-20 west, a jackknifed 18-wheeler has I-20 shut down in Louisiana just across the Mississippi River. They're from Vicksburg and Mound up to Tallulah. So if you're trying to get west into Louisiana, you're going to have to take that alternate route. But locally in the metro, everything moving smoothly. Clinton to Jackson on I-20 East, a 10-minute drive. And I-55 there smooth as well. Here's a live look at I-55 this morning there near High Street. Everything moving smoothly and no accidents here in the metro this morning.
Thanks, Jacob. All eyes are on the state capitol today as the 2022 legislative session gets underway.
Now lawmakers will look to tackle some of the biggest issues facing people across Mississippi. 12 News' Leah Williams joins us live from the state capitol. She has a preview of the biggest storylines heading into the session. Leah?
State lawmakers are headed back to the capital city today as the 2022 legislative session starts this afternoon. Medical marijuana and how to distribute the $1.8 billion the state received through the American Rescue Fund are some of the major items lawmakers will discuss. Many are hoping the issues will be resolved during this legislative session. Redistricting is also another major topic that will be debated.
This process in itself brings up an opportunity for people to suppress access to the ballot, and it's a process that we are keenly aware and keenly tuned into.
Teacher pay was not in the initial budget recommendations, but it will likely be brought up at some point during this session. Lawmakers will officially make their way back to the state capitol at noon. Live in Jackson, Leah Williams, 12 News.
Thanks, Leah. This morning, we're hearing from Governor Tate Reeves when it comes to some of the biggest issues of the legislative session. That includes the ongoing debate over medical marijuana. Voters overwhelmingly supported medical marijuana on the ballot in 2020, with more than 74% supporting a proposed marijuana program via the state's ballot initiative process. But the state Supreme Court struck down the program last year due to an inconsistency with the initiative system. Many called for the governor to hold a special session over the issue, but he never did. 12 News anchor Melanie Christopher sat down with Governor Reeves ahead of this year's legislative session, and he says he supports a medical marijuana program if it's done right.
The question is always asked about how do you feel about medical marijuana? Well, I'm 100% for medical marijuana. The question is, how do you define medical marijuana? Where does it go from medical to recreational? Then the way in which you ensure that you limit the amount of marijuana on the streets of Jackson and other parts of the state is you put a cap on how much individuals can get in any one year.
We also spoke with the governor about the current state of the pandemic and how Mississippi's hospitals are handling this 5th COVID surge. Governor Reeves allowed Mississippi's COVID state of emergency to expire in November, saying that he believed that new infections and hospitalizations were effectively managed. At the time, Mississippi was averaging less than 300 new cases a day. And now, with a 7-day average more than 10 times higher than that, the governor says he's closely watching the situation.
We think the next couple of weeks could be challenging, and we're working closely to monitor that. And should we need to take action, we will. We're not going to have mandates. We're not going to shut down businesses. We're not going to do those things. But we are going to monitor and make sure we protect the integrity of our healthcare system.
And to watch Melanie's full interview with the governor, just head to our website, WJTV.com.
Governor Reeves' comments come as the Omicron and Delta variants are tearing through Mississippi. Now we're seeing a new record for most new cases in a single day. On Monday, the State Department of Health released the new daily COVID counts from the New Year's Eve holiday weekend. They reported more than 17,000 cases over a 4-day period, including a new single-day record of 5,600 cases on Friday. Now, with JPS's first day of the spring semester this week, there are concerns over the safety of in-person learning.
The fact that Omicron is substantially more transmissible, without a doubt, more children are going to be infected.
Despite the record-setting case count, deaths are staying low. There were only 5 newly reported deaths during the same period. This could be due to the Omicron variant causing milder symptoms and more cases, or because of rising vaccination rates. Meanwhile, we're seeing some positive news when it comes to vaccination efforts across the state. New this morning, Mississippi has hit a booster milestone. 30% of all fully vaccinated Mississippians have gotten a booster dose. That's nearly 450,000 people.
With New Year's weekend in the books, the Mississippi Highway Patrol has ended its holiday enforcement travel period. Now we're going to look at the numbers. They say New Year's citations doubled in comparison to last year. MHP tells us they handed out nearly 15,000 citations during their 4-day enforcement period. That's compared to just over 6,000 last year. 279 of those citations were DUIs, while there were nearly 200 crashes. That includes 2 deadly crashes and 1 in Hinds County, where a Jackson man, Marcus Duvall, hit a fence on I-20 between Bolton and Edwards.
It is 6:07.
And coming up here on 12 News, with a holiday break in the rearview mirror, senators return to work Monday. Next on 12 News, a surprising move from Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
And temperatures this morning much colder than they were yesterday. I'm tracking 20s and frost. Your hour-by-hour forecast is next.
But first, taking a look at last night's winning Powerball numbers. Check your tickets closely. The jackpot was 561 million big ones.
And taking a look at your Cash 3 numbers, 241. We'll be right back.